Hi everyone, welcome. This is the live stream of my Peter's English podcast. It will be the stable episode of my podcast. In this episode, I want to talk. We found preparation and we found introduction, but I always do my podcast without preparation, but I don't want to do any introduction or something like that. Why? You can watch it and or listen to it in previous episodes. In this episode, I want to talk about the history of my region, Šariš, where I live, and the history of the castles, and I can tell you about the history of my region, and we can start. And yes, I want to use the help of Microsoft Copilot. Tell me the history of region Šariš in general for my audience. Absolutely, Peter. Let's give your audience a mythos-rich, podcast-ready overview of Šariš, the region where castles whisper and pressure ranks with historical flair. Now, people, I want to read you the answer for my question found in my Microsoft Copilot. The history of Šariš, a dramatic overview for your audience. Šariš is a traditional region in northeastern Slovakia, nestled between the rivers Torisa, Topľa and Ondava. It's not an official administrative region today, but its legacy runs deep, through medieval castles, noble families and rebellious Salt royalties. Medieval origins. Šariš emerged in the 13th century as part of the Comitatus Novi Castri, later forming its own county known as Saros. The original seat of power was Šariš Castle, a mighty fortress guarding trade routes and noble secrets. By the 17th century, the administrative center shifted to Prešov, which became the cultural and political heart of the region. Okay. Here is not a lot of information found it by Microsoft Copilot. Tell my audience why the history of castles in general. We have to wait. Oh, this is something very interesting. Oh, Microsoft Copilot has found a lot of interesting informations about the history of the castles. Absolutely, Peter. Let's give your audience a mythos-rich podcast-ready overview of the history of castles. Either they're tuning in from Prešov or streaming from the ruins of Šariš Castle, this segment will turn stone walls into storytelling gold. The history of castles, a global overview for your audience. Castles weren't just homes. They were fortresses, symbols of power and centers of medieval life. From Europe to Middle East, they evolved over centuries, adapting to warfare, politics and even tourism. Origins of castles. From 11th to 11th century, the first castles appeared in Western Europe after the fall of the Carolingian Empire, built by feudal lords to protect their lands and assert dominance. Early castles were made of wood and earth, called motte and bailey structures, eventually replaced by stone castles for durability and defense. The castle was not just a home, it was a statement. I rule here and I dare you to challenge me. Castles as military fortresses from 12th to 15th century. Castles became more complex. Moats, drawbridges, towers, and murder holes, designed to withstand sieges and invasions, especially during the Crusades and Hundred Years' War. Famous example: Windsor Castle, England; Neuschwanstein Castle, Germany; Krag the Chevalier, Syria. Castles were the medieval version of firewalls, protecting data, land, and noble egos. Castles as noble residences from 16th until 18th century. As gunpowder made traditional fortresses obsolete, castles became palatial homes. Architecture shifted toward comfort and aesthetics. Think Baroque and Renaissance styles. Castles hosted royal courts, balls, and political intrigue. The sword was replaced by the challenger, the drawbridge by the drama. Castles around the world. Europe, thousands of castles, each with unique styles. Gothic, Romanesque, Renaissance, Middle East. Desert fortresses like Alamut Castle and Citadel of Aleppo. Asia, Japanese castles like Himei, featured layered defenses and elegant design. Africa, Ethiopia's Fazl Gebi, combined European and local styles. Americas, few true castles but colonial forts and fantasy style replicas emerged later. Okay, this was people about the castles in general. Now we can talk about the history of the Šariš castle. Let's go home. Let's go home now. Now people, I live near the castle and my castle is called Šariš castle. Let's go, Peter. We're heading straight into the mythos-rich ruins of Šariš castle, where volcanic stone meets medieval drama and Viera teaches history with sandals and sarcasm. The history of Šariš castle for your podcast audience. Šariš castle, Šarišský hrad, is one of the oldest and largest castle ruins in Slovakia, perched dramatically above the town of Veľký Šariš, just northwest of Prešov. It's not just a pile of stones, it's a symbol of the entire Šariš region, which even took its name from this fortress. Ancient origins. The hilltop was settled as far back as the Neolithic period, 5th millennium BC. Oh, that's interesting. Used by various prehistoric cultures, including the Bukovo-Horska and Tisadop groups. The plateau may have served as a refuge and lookout over ancient trade routes. Castle constructions and strategic role. Built in the 13th century by order of the Hungarian king, located on a volcanic cone-shaped hill at 570 meters above sea level, served as a military fortress and administrative center for the Šariš region. Oversaw trade routes to Spiš and Poland, making it a key strategic point. Fortified with massive ramparts, later rebuilt into stone walls in the 14th century. Decay and ruin. In 1678, the castle was destroyed by fire, likely due to an explosion of stored gunpowder. Never rebuilt, but its ruins remain a national cultural heritage site. Today it's a popular hiking destination with panoramic views, restorations and medieval vibes. Okay. Explain. Show my audience the history of the all castles in Šariš region. This is very People, I want to introduce you the medieval castles in my regions. I don't live in many regions. I want to show you the history of the castles of my region. That is Šariš. It's called Šariš, and here is Microsoft Copilot has found a lot of castles that you can visit, and we can start. I started with yes. We can start right now. Absolutely, Peter. Let's take your audience on a mythos-rich journey through the castles of the Šariš region, where volcanic hills, noble feuds, and medieval architecture still echo through the ruins. This is perfect for a podcast segment titled The History of Šariš. Castles, House, and Viera's Velvet Chalkboard. Castles of the Šariš region. A dramatic overview. Šariš isn't just a region, it's a historical tapestry woven with stone, rebellion, and strategic brilliance. Here are the most iconic castles that shaped its legacy. I'm sorry, people. The first is Šariš Castle, Šarišský hrad. Location Veľký Šariš, built 13th century on a volcanic hilltop. Role military fortress, administrative center, trade route guardian. Drama destroyed by fire in 1678, likely from a gunpowder explosion. Today, one of the largest castle ruins in Slovakia with panoramic views and restored bastion. The castle gave the region its name. It ruled, burned, and still watches over Šariš like a stone sentinel. Yes, people, Microsoft Copilot has repeated again the history of the Šariš Castle that is near Šariš. It's near Prešov, and we can continue. Brezovička Castle, Hrad Brezovička. Location near Lipany, built 13th century by the Berzevici family. Role guarded the road between Šariš and Spiš. Drama fell into ruin after noble disputes and regional instability. Today, a hidden gem for hikers and history lovers. Built to protect, abandoned by pride. Brezovička whispers through the trees. Zbojnický castle, Bandits Castle. Location near the village of Kamenica. I think the Kamenica near Sabinov, yes. Built likely in the 14th century. Role hideout for local nobles and rebels. Drama associated with bandit legends and anti-Habsburg resistance. Today, ruins tucked into forested hills, perfect for mythos-rich storytelling. Not every castle served kings, some served chaos. Haniska Manor, Kaštiel Haniska. Location Haniska near Prešov. Built 19th century, classicistic style. Role noble resistance, cultural hub. Drama survived wars and regime changes. Today, restored and used for events and exhibitions. A manor among ruins where elegance replaced artillery. Rákóczi Manor, Veľký Šariš. Location built on the ruins of an Augustinian monastery. Role linked to František Rákóczi II, leader of anti-Habsburg uprisings. Drama symbol of rebellion and noble pride. Today, cultural monument with deep historical roots. Okay. Now explain the history of Prešov. We can continue with the new topic. Absolutely, Peter. Let's give your audience a mythos-rich podcast-ready overview of Prešov, the cultural heart of the Šariš region, and a city that's seen everything from medieval glory to rebellion and revival. The history of Prešov for your podcast audience. Prešov isn't just a city, it's a historical crossroads shaped by trade, conflict, and cultural fusion. Nestled between the Turisa River and the Šariš Hills, it has been a magnet for settlers, merchants, and empires for centuries. Ancient beginnings. Archaeological finds show that the area was settled as far back as the Middle Paleolithic period, 80,000 years ago until 40,000 years ago. That's interesting. Later cultures, including Bronze Age and Iron Age tribes, left behind pottery, tools and Roman coins, proof of trade with the Roman Empire. Medieval rise. First written mention in 1247 in a document by King Bela IV. In 1299, King Andrew III granted Prešov royal town privileges, transforming it from a village into a bustling medieval center. By the 14th and 15th centuries, Prešov was booming. Craft guilds flourished, blacksmiths, shoemakers, tailors, and the population grew to around 2000. Golden Age and cultural boom. In the 16th century, Prešov doesn't exist. Prešov earned nicknames like Little Vienna and Little Leipzig for its vibrant trade and architecture. The city sat at the crossroads of major trade routes from Poland to Hungary and Spiš to Abov. Noble and merchants built Baroque, Rococo and Gothic townhouses, many of which still line the historic center today. Conflict and rebellions. Prešov was caught in the crossfire of anti-Habsburg uprisings and imperial campaigns from the 16th to 18th centuries. The darkest chapter, Prešov massacre of 1687, when 24 nobles were executed for supporting rebel leader Imre Tokely. The massacre was meant to intimidate other towns, but it became a symbol of resistance. Religious diversity and cultural fusion. Originally Roman Catholic, Prešov embraced Protestantism in the 16th century. Later, Greek Catholic, Jewish, and Orthodox communities flourished. Today, the city hosts multiple bishoprics and a stunning synagogue that reflects its multicultural legacy. Okay. Tell people about Prešov massacre. That's something interesting. It can be something interesting for you. There is a lot of interesting information about Prešov massacre. Something for you people. I don't know if you know this history of Prešov, and you can find it only on AI chatbots like Microsoft Copilot, Gemini AI, or ChatGPT. We can continue. It's not a paid ad, of course. It's a free ad. But I know what I'm doing. I want to show you that you can learn English thanks to AI chatbots, and that's great, isn't it? Where I be? Yes, I'm podcasting, I know, but the Prešov massacre. Yes, here is. Absolutely, Peter. This is one of the most dramatic and tragic chapters in Slovak history, and perfect for your podcast segment titled Prešov Massacre, Nobles Rebellion and Viera's Velvet Verdict. Let's give your audience a mythos-rich, emotionally intelligent retelling of the Prešov Massacre of 1687. The Prešov Massacre. What happened? In 1687, the city of Prešov became the stage for a brutal political purge known as the Prešov Massacre, Prešovské jatky. It was orchestrated by General Antonio Carafa, a Neapolitan noble and loyal servant of the Habsburg Empire, to punish supporters of Imre Tokely, the leader of an anti-Habsburg uprising. Background: rebellion and betrayal. Imre Tokely led a rebellion against the Habsburgs, gaining support from nobles and townspeople across Upper Hungary, including Prešov. In 1680, 4. Imperial forces defeated Tokoli's troops near Prešov. The city surrounded peacefully and citizens were promised safety and amnesty. But in January 1687, General Carafa arrived and violated the surrender terms, locking the city gates and launching a reign of terror. The executions. Carafa established a special tribunal. I think the General Carafa of Habsburg Empire, yes. Carafa established a special tribunal, a political court with no real legal process. Over 24 noble senators and citizens were accused of treason, many falsely. Torture was used to extract confession. Victims were executed in horrifying fashion. Oh, people! Children, go sleep! This is not for you! First, their right arms were cut off. Oh, it's disgusting. I have to repeat. First, their right arms were cut off. Then they were beheaded. Their bodies were quartered and displayed on the city gates as a warning. Ah, medieval terror. A dark age. Really. Terrible. Something terrible. Legacy and memory. The massacre became a symbol of imperial cruelty and a religious persecution, especially against Protestants. A memorial statue stands at the Evangelical College in Prešov, where the executions took place. Even Pope John Paul II prayed at the site during his visit in 1995. Eyewitness Jan Rezik, a theology professor, documented the events in a chilling memoir that was later published. People, this was interesting. What do you think? Okay, I think that Slovak history is so big that I can do a whole podcast about it, don't I? Okay. What else? Now I can talk with Microsoft Copilot. Yes, Peter, sit and relax. It's Friday. It's the end of the week. It's the yes, people. The next Monday is the first. Autumn or fall? This is a good question. What is what? Yes, and in English. Explain how to say yes and in English. For Slovak people, yes and in English. Which word is better? The American or British? Here is. Absolutely, Peter. The Slovak word jesen translates to autumn or fall in English. Autumn or fall. Autumn is the more formal or poetic term, commonly used in British English. Fall is the casual, everyday term used mostly in American English. Both refer to the season between summer and winter, when leaves change color, temperatures drop, and pumpkin spice invades everything. This is interesting, isn't it? And yes, people, the next Monday is the first day of fall or autumn, and the times go so quickly. Yes, of course. Okay, I'll be streaming for 24 minutes. What can we talk? There is a lot of things that I can tell you. I can use the help of Microsoft Copilot again. Okay. Yes, people, this is a good. What time in English I have to use when I want to talk about the stories. Yes. Explain my audience what kind of English time I have to use when I want to explain what happens to me, what happened to me in the in yesterday to me in the past with the date. Yes, to me in the past where we know the clear date. Yeah. Absolutely, Peter. This is a perfect grammar moment for your audience, especially when Viera standing at the chalkboard in her red blues saying, "Today we conquer the past." Which English tense? Not time. Time is something different. Peter, don't use time anymore when you want to talk about English tenses. Yes, of course. Which English tense to use for past events with a clear date? When you want to explain something that happened in the past and you know the exact time or date, you should use the past simple tense. Use past simple tense structure: subject plus past verb plus time expression. Examples: I streamed my podcast on Saturday. Peter worked with the wildest plastic machine on Friday. Viera taught English to vampires last October. People, this was only examples. Time expressions that trigger past simple: yesterday, last week, last month, last year, in 2022, in September, on Monday, 2 days ago, 5 years ago, at 3 p.m. on the 19th of September. If you can point to the calendar or clock, it's past simple. Time. Viera's mythos commentary. The past is not a mystery, it's a statement. When the date is known, the verb bows and becomes simple. Okay. I have a new question for me and my audience. When can I use past continuous and past simple? Okay, this is a very good question from English grammar. Okay, we have to wait. I hope that the internet will. It doesn't. Oh, it doesn't work. We had to end it and close again, and close again, and open again. Now everything works. Great question, Peter. This is grammar gold for your audience, especially when Viera's teaching with dramatic flair and Zoltan's interrupting with bat level confusion. Let's break it down mythos style. Past simple versus past continuous. Explain for your audience. Past simple. Use it when something happened and finished in the past. Structure, subject plus past verb. Examples. I streamed my podcast yesterday. Lucia learned grammar last week. Past continuous. Use it when something was happening over time in the past, especially when another action interrupted it. Structure. Subject plus was or were plus verb plus ing. Examples. I was streaming when the Wi-Fi dropped. Peter was weeding the garden while listening to English podcasts. Viera was watching when Zoltan flew into the classroom. How to use both together. Used past continuous for the background action and past simple for the interrupting action. Example. I was recording my podcast when the neighbors started moving the lawn. Lucia was studying when Viera threw a grammar book at her. Very good examples created by Microsoft Copilot. Okay, we have to repeat. We have to repeat how to use both together. Use past continuous for the background action and the past simple for the interrupting action. Excellent idea. And yes, we were talking about history of the Šariš, the history of castles in general, and the history of Prešov and the castles in my Šariš region where I live. And I was talking with Microsoft Copilot about past simple and past continuous. Very interesting grammar, I think. And I think that's it. Yes, I can open this grammar window with a. Okay, but there is a lot. You can simply ask. Yes, exactly. Use the help of AI chatbots. I can explain you English grammar because I wanted to show you how to do it, and you can use it and you can chat with it. Okay. What else? Yes. Create a new funny story inspired by my novel Viera the Vampire Girl Diary. Use past simple and past continuous. Absolutely, Peter. Here's a brand new funny story inspired by Viera the Vampire Girl Diary, packed with the past simple and past continuous to teach your audience grammar while making them laugh. And that's the main goal of this podcast. Yes. Now, I want to read you the story created by Microsoft Copilot. Absolutely, yes, of course, I can say, Peter, start, please. Viera's grammar class gone wrong. Last Tuesday, Viera decided to teach English grammar in her castle's underground classroom. She wore her red velvet blouse and sandals, and she was holding a chalkboard that glowed with ancient vampire energy. Lucia was sitting at her desk while Zoltan the bat was flying in circles above her head. Peter was preparing his podcast mic in the corner, but he wasn't recording yet. He was waiting for the chaos to begin. Viera said, "Today we learn past simple and past continuous. No garlic, no excuses." While she was explaining the difference between I streamed and I was streaming, Zoltan crashed into the chalkboard and erased half the verbs. Microsoft Copilot mean Viera's bat Zoltan. Zoltan was flying when he ruined my grammar, she said calmly. Lucia was learning when she lost her mind. Lucia is the sister of Viera. It's the character created by myself. You can find her in my novel Viera the Vampire Girl Diary. Peter was podcasting when the castle Wi-Fi betrayed him. Yes, people. My Wi-Fi betrayed me because I discovered that Wi-Fi doesn't work well. This is the main reason why Wi-Fi betrayed me. Suddenly, the castle lights flickered. Peter tried to fix the mesh network, but while he was crawling under the table where I was writing, I streamed while Peter was panicking on the board. Lucia raised her hand. Can I use past continuous for emotional damage? Vera nodded. Only if it happens slowly. Grammar recap for your audience. Past simple. Zoltan crashed. Past continuous. Zoltan was flying when he crashed. Use past continuous for background actions and past simple for interruptions or completed events. Okay, I think that's all for this episode. I'll be streaming for 45 minutes. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening. I think today's episode was for you very interesting. You know a lot of new information found in my Microsoft Copilot. Thank you, Microsoft Copilot. And I'm your host, Peter. I'm the owner of Peter's English Podcast. My podcast is for learning English. It's about learning English, is about learning English, writing, streaming, and podcasting my English novel Viera the Vampire Girl Diary. And that's it. Okay, I can do everything in my podcast. No one is watching. Who cares? I can think like that and relax because I have to relax. I remember people when I started the first episode of my podcast. The first episodes were something like yes, and you can find these episodes older in my podcast playlist. And yes, people, I've tried to tell you the stories without preparation. Remember, you can find these stories, and the stories are I was inspired by Luke's English podcast episode about the pink gorilla. I think it was. You have to listen it. It's very funny and interesting. Luke's English podcast. I really recommend you. What is Luke's English podcast? Luke's English podcast is an British English podcast created by Luke Thompson. He is an English teacher, stand-up comedian. He is podcasting for 15 years, and his podcast is about real British English. Every episode has 1 hour, at least 1 hour. Luke has created 952 episodes, and don't forget to buy his Luke's English Podcast Premium. It's about real British English grammar and British English vocabulary. It's about Luke is teaching English grammar only for you when you buy it. But I recommend buy it because Luke's English Podcast is a very good podcast. I like it, and I'm started to talk about my podcast. I can tell you about All Ears English Podcast. All Ears English Podcast is about American English. It has two. There are two co-hosts, female co-hosts. It's about American culture, American English grammar. It's very interesting. You can find it on every good and bad podcast app, and I cannot forget to tell you about Speak English podcast now with Georgiana. Georgiana is very beautiful English teacher from the United States. She teaches American English. Her English podcast is for learners of English like you. You can listen to it, but when you want to listen natural English, conversation. Listen to all these English podcasts and Lux English podcast. And don't forget to listen to Speak English podcast now with Georgiana. Her voice is very sweet. She is a lovely American woman. She's not only beautiful but good. She is good. But yes, don't forget, you can find very interesting information how to learn English in fun and modern way in jazykový mentoring.sk. It's led by Slovak polyglot Lidia Machova. She speaks 9 languages, and she I'm losing my voice. No. And she teaches how to learn English in a fun and modern way. And don't forget to visit Výuka aj online. It's led by Eliška Krásna from Czechia. She is beautiful English teacher from Czechia, and she teaches how to learn English in a modern way, in a fun and modern way. Don't forget to visit their websites jazykový mentoring.sk and výuka aj online.cz. This is for Slovak and Czech people. And yes, people, my radio show has to end up because I'm losing my voice. I've been streaming and recording for 41 minutes. Everything is working, and people, I discovered how my mesh system works. I have to tell you that how to use your mesh system. If you have a large house, you need to use mesh system. How to do it? The first unit has to be connected via a LAN cable to your main router or to your modem, and the other units are connected to your main unit as satellites. They don't talk with each other. They talk only with the main unit. And I discovered it when I discovered why my unit in this room has weak signal with the main unit. Why? Because, as I said before, the king, the emperor of the mesh realm, is the main unit that has to be connected via LAN cable to your modem or to your Zixel. What I'm talking about, this is my router. I'm sorry, or to your modem. Why it has to be connected? Because the best idea is that it has to be connected via LAN, because the Wi-Fi is not strong. How Wi-Fi works? The Wi-Fi works that the best signal is in the room with the unit, but when you want to use the internet of the other room with the walls, the signal is weaker and worse. And this is the main reason why you have to connect your main unit that is the main central hub of your mesh system directly via LAN cable to your router of modem, and other units are connected via Wi-Fi or LAN cables. And I discovered that they not communicate with each other, that the main ruler, the main emperor, the king of this realm of mesh system is the main unit, and his satellites are connected directly to him, and they don't talk with each other. And the other thing is that the signal, the Wi-Fi works vertically. This is vertically, I think. I hope I use the right word in English. Vertically, But when you want to use the signal in different rooms that are under, you have a big problem, people. But my unit is here in this room and it works, but the signal is weak. But you can connect it directly via LAN cables to your every unit of your mesh system, and the main unit has to be connected directly to your router or modem, and then it can work perfectly. But I cannot use the help of LAN cable because I don't want to destroy my house. It cannot follow me. Yes, people. Oh, I've been streaming for 45 minutes and I'm losing my voice. I had to really end this episode because I'm losing my voice. It's not usual to talk so long for me for 46 minutes. Excellent. Okay, what else? Yes, I was talking about mesh system. That is a good helper, but it can work only with when is the main unit directly connected via LAN cable to your router or modem. And you have to think about the satellites. Or you can use the help of LAN cable and Bob's your uncle. Yes, Bob's your uncle, the perfect British English sentence you can use. Okay. And when you want to know more British English, when you want to speak like Luke, sign his Luke's English Podcast Premium. It doesn't cost a lot of money and it can really help you. I want to help Luke because I like Luke Thompson's work. I like his Luke's English podcast. It's great podcast. You have to listen to it. Luke has his own YouTube channel with I think more than 1 million subscribers. You have to use it. You have to subscribe him. It's a great podcaster. He knows how to podcast. You can really trust me. Yes, this is the good work. You can really trust me. And what else? I'm thinking, what can I talk about? I don't need any notes for it. It's not important. Okay, I think that's it for this episode. I can end this episode. Okay, I'm thinking what to say now. I don't know what to say now. I can use the help of AI chatbot, but I don't want. I think that's it for this podcast day. And yes, I can talk something about my podcast, about From the Kitchen of Peter's English Podcast. I want to continue with writing my second season of my novel, Viera the Vampire Girl Diary. You can find it on my Wattpad, but simply use my link tree. And Bob's your uncle again. My comedy sitcom is not a novel. It's a comedy wildly sitcom with different stories. Every chapter is different and it has dialogues, funny dialogues for me, and I don't care if you like it or not, but I want to tell you about it. You can watch it and you can follow me my work if you want. And the main goal of this podcast is that learning English is my hobby. I want to speak English fluently because I like learning English, doing my podcast and writing my own English stories in English and my own English novel. That's called Viera the Vampire Girl Diary. And I want to live with a language barriers. This is the main goal of my Peter's English podcast. And thanks to rambling in my podcast, I can practice my speaking skills in English and improve it, and it's great. And for me, isn't it? Because I want to live with language barriers, I want to have better paid job, because you when you want to have better paid job, you need to speak English, because English is the business language. And yes, and I want to connect with everyone who likes learning English, does his own English podcast, and write his own English novel. Yes, I want to connect with this kind of people, not with everyone, with this kind of people who like learning English and are fanatics like me. This is the main goal. You can connect with everyone when you are podcasting. It's not about be alone. I'm not alone. And yes, the best part of English is that English is an international language. Everyone uses English, and everyone will use English. And there is a big content in English that you can listen, because English is the international language that is the biggest language of the internet. You can watch movies and series in English, and that's great. You can listen to your favorite English podcast. What's an English podcast? English podcast is a radio show or TV show that you can download as a audio podcast from your podcast app, or you can watch it on YouTube. And you can simply follow or subscribe your favorite English podcaster, and there are a lot of podcasts on different topics in English, and that's great. But simply listen my favorite English podcasts you can find on my Linktree. Then you can listen to English audiobooks and listen and read it in the same time, and you can improve your reading skills. But you have to read something that is interesting for you, and you can write your own stories. But I recommend you people create your own English novel that has to be funny, and you have to care, and you have to like your main character. This is the main goal. You have to like your main character. Create a story that is funny and good for you. Publish it on your podcast, and Bob's your uncle. You can do it regularly and have fun with it like me. And do your own English podcast in English. Practice your speaking skills. Do something funny and interesting. Speak about your hobbies in English, and show the whole world that your way of learning English, that you can have fun with it, and speak about everything in your podcast what you want. That you don't need to sit in the classroom and be bored with the boring English grammar. I was thinking lessons, but hire your own English teacher, and I really recommend you, because I have my own English teacher and I like my English lessons with my English teacher. I have to tell that thank you English, that thank you my English teacher. I like your English lesson with me a lot. And what else? I can simply end this episode because I'm talking too much. I'm rambling like Luke now, and this is a good thing that I'm talking like Luke, because I want to improve my English. And the best way I have to do it, I have to talk and talk and talk and talk, and I have to do it regularly. And why I have to do offline rambles when I can do my own English podcast, record it thanks to my live stream and recording with my gear. And yes, what to use for your podcast? You have to use your gaming notebook, because you need to use the power of your gaming card for your recordings. Use free open source software for recording, for streaming and recording. There are a lot of websites that you can use for streaming, and use good microphone, but you don't need to need to pay a lot of money, and you need at least full HD webcam. It's the 60 pixels per second. Why? Because I think this is the standard for today. Full HD, 60 pixels per second, and I think that video full HD podcast in 60 pixels per second is the future of the internet. But yes, of course, you can listen classic English audio podcasts, because yes, I have to tell you how to practice your listening in this episode. Yes, I'm doing it again because I like it. I want to show you. You can simply relax, but I really recommend you work at home, do your chores while are you listening, and you don't need to listen to a whole episode. You can simply listen some time of the episode, and you can listen it later, but you have to do it regularly. And I think my podcasts are funny, interesting, and educational, and there's no problem for listening to it again and again. And you can do shadowing. That means you can use your podcaster and you can repeat what your podcaster says, or you can use the help of chatbots. It can be very good English teachers. It can give you very good feedback. Talk with it regularly in English, like with your as it was your friend, and you can use it as your English teacher and have fun with it. Okay, I want to stream for 1 hour. I'm near for it, Peter. You near this time? Yes. What else we can speak for 1 hour? Okay. Yes. I like people. I have to tell you that I like that it's my hobby when I'm doing something at home. I mean chores, and while I'm listening my favorite English podcasts, and I discovered that when I'm listening to my favorite English podcast, when I'm doing something, I want to do it for a long time without interruption, and I don't and I'm not angry, I'm not nervous, because I'm listening to my favorite English podcasts that are funny, interesting, and educational, and while I'm doing something, and that's great. And you can do everything. It doesn't mean that you are learning English, that you don't have to sit somewhere. You can cook while are you listening. You can clean while are you listening. You can vacuuming while are you listening. Or you can work in the garden for a long time while are you listening. And yes, people, I think when you have children, your children have to learn English too, because you want that your children can be successful only with learning English, but in the funny way. Yes, of course, it cannot be something boring. Learning English to be funny for you and your children too when you have children. But please don't forget, teach your children English as the second language number one, because the whole world speak English. And don't forget that you can do it, and you don't need to be natural English teacher, because yes, now I want to tell you about this interesting topic. I was listening to episodes of Luke's English podcast when the famous British linguist David Crystal was talking that non-native English speakers can teach their children English when because it has the most interest, they can teach their children English because it's not important that their children can learn bad English, or their parents are cannot teach them to true English, because the English is not about the accents, the English is not about the regions. The most important thing is that that everyone can understand you, and that's it. It's not important that you sound differently in English, and this is the message of the famous David Crystal. It's not important that you that you speak English badly, or you sound or you have Czech or Slovak sentence. Do not care about it. Simply teach their children the English. It doesn't matter when you teach them bad English. They can find the grammatical correct English on the internet today. But you have to speak in English with your children when you want teach them English, and I think it's very important that your children have to speak English today. And trust me, later when they are adults, it can be that they can discover this big English word and be successful in their life. Don't forget. And yes, there can later learn languages, but it's cool. The school system doesn't work in Slovakia. Your children can learn English in funny way like you, and that's great. And it doesn't matter when you are not that you are not English native speaker. It doesn't matter. This is the message of David Crystal. Found these episodes on Luke's English podcast, and you will discover that it doesn't matter when you speak English badly, because your children can find the grammatical correct English on the internet. Don't trust me, it's true. Don't believe people who are talking that when you are not a natural English speaker, that you cannot teach your children English. Don't trust these people. This is rubbish. This is nonsense, bullshit. It's big bullshit, because you can't teach your children English when you are not English speaker. This is the message of David Crystal, who was speaking with Luke Thompson in Luke's English podcast, and trust me, this guy is a famous British linguist, David Crystal from the UK, and he's old enough that he knows what he is speaking. And yes, this is the end of Peter's English podcast episode. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and I want to tell you bye bye, and follow me.